And the best part of this all is, like you said, it's difficult to overcome that experience. Yeah. So when someone is able to go through that experience successfully, that is the good news that we want to know. So what resources are available for rape survivors? What can they do to just put this thing behind them and just move on?
Yeah, I think one of the most challenging things about our system in Nigeria is that most survivors do not have access to justice, right? So it very, we have, one in every 4 girls, one in every 10 boys that is a victim of some kind of sexual abuse in their childhood, right? So if you think about that, in our context, that 60% of all children have had, sexual abuse written into their life story at some point. That means that we have 25 million Nigerian women out of about 100 million that currently have dealt with rape in their childhood. Up to 70% that it has happened to them more than once. And so we have millions and millions of women who are living this reality every day. It affects you in so many ways. A lot of people have post-traumatic stress disorder. Many people are dealing with suicidal ideations. They're not able to relate to their partners, whether it's physically or sexually. They live in fear. And so the reality is that the majority of people are not going to get access to justice. Many of them are not even going to have an opportunity to confront their assailant, will not also not be able to validate it in many ways, right? Because people are so skeptical of rape allegations. And so in that
Yeah.
context where most people will not be able to address that piece of it, right? And we know that that's a
Yeah.
big part of the healing process, when you're able to have your truth validated, when you're able to have access to justice. In that context where you're not going to have all things, how do you actually start to put all the pieces together? And we work with a lot of psychologists that work with our survivors, and one of the first things they always say, you have to understand and come to a place of accepting that this was not your fault, right? So
Yes. Yes.
the victim blaming, the stigma, all of that, it's your mental well-being, right? And it's hard to overcome that. So generally what we say is that we ask our survivors to definitely in therapy,
Mm.
to get involved in counseling, where they meet with a therapist or meet with a counselor to understand what this is actually doing to them. Understand, that this is something that has happened, but that you can overcome it. The first thing you have to do is speak out about it. And I know that that's the most difficult of it, because a lot of people, because of the shame, because of the idea that you're no more valuable, or whatever all these
Yeah.
ridiculous things
Yes.
that we say in Nigeria are, a lot of
Yes.
people are afraid to talk. But once you actually start to speak about it, that's where the healing starts immediately. And then we also ask that
Mm.
people follow up with counseling.
That's true. That's true. Thank you very much. If there's just one or two person out there listening, we need to know that someone is supporting them, someone is speaking up for them. And today actually happens to be International Sexual Violence and Assault. It's a day set aside to show support and just to give a voice to rape victim or anybody who has been sexually abused. What do you have to say to you out there right now?
Well, I want to also add that something that affects boys as well. 1 in 10 boys in there is also victimized by rape as well. This is something that affects the way we are connected to it. 1 in every 3 women globally has had rape or some kind of physical assault written into their life story, right? So this is something that we're all dealing with. All of us know somebody, or ourselves have been victimized in some way, right? So I wanted to just say very quickly, there are many resources, particularly in Lagos. There's the Mirabel
Yeah.
Center that people are probably aware of. There's an organization called WARIF. There's the Real Woman Foundation. There's Stand to End Rape. There's, of course, Pathfinders that's able to provide support to you. But I think, one of the things I want to remind people of is that just one experience in your life does not define the entirety of who you are, right? So in the same way that I'm a mother, I'm a woman, I'm a lawyer, it's just one particular aspect of who I am, but that's not the entirety of who I am. One experience does not
Yes.
define who you are. Who you are is
Mm,
defined by who you choose to be, right? So I always say that when someone tries to put a stigma on me, that's my choice whether or not to accept that stigmatization. And so so radio, like, this is who they stay, right? This is one thing that's
yeah.
happened to them, but it's possible that you can actually overcome it and live a life that is joyful and peaceful and fruitful. And a lot of times, what tends to happen, become advocates
Mm,
once they've gone through the healing process for other survivors as well.
yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been such a privilege speaking to you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
I'm grateful, and I really appreciate also because the media has such a big role to play in this. You guys are the ones who
Yes.
help us craft the stories. You're the ones who help us bring the stories to light, and so we appreciate your voice as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. That's as much as we can take today on the interview. Yvonne Benson Idahosa, the founder and executive director of Pathfinder Justice Initiative, an NGO which works to prevent and protect survivors of sexual violence and sexual exploitation in Nigeria. You can follow her on our social media platform at Find Your Path. That's FINDYRPATH. And if you have any questions you want to ask, any clarification that you need, you can just send her a direct message and she will answer you straight up. All right, thank you so much. We'll go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue the show. Don't go anywhere. Okay.
Will this video again?
Let me just fix this right now.
Who you are is determined by who you want to be.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.